Coming into the ballpark here in Milwaukee, it's a dreary night outside. They're expecting rain for most of the game, but luckily we'll be protected inside Miller Park as the Reds and the Brewers get together for the final time in this series this year. Milwaukee, Cincinnati, here on Fox Sports Ohio. And hi, and a pleasant Friday evening, everyone. Along with Chris Welsh and Jim Day, this is Jim Couch. Welcome, as always, to Reds baseball. Well, tonight, the first game of this three-game series, and as I mentioned, the final series that these two teams will get together this year starts with an interesting note, Chris, because you have two rookie pitchers, and these teams are counting on these guys a lot as the years progress. They want to see them tonight.
Well, they're going to see him tonight. I'm not so sure they're into plans for the beginning of next year, but at 22 years old and you're towing the mound of a major league rubber, no problem at all right there. Brandon Finnegan, well, he's used to that because he was up in his first ever professional year when the Kansas City Royals plucked him out of TCU. He was fresh out of the College World Series, and by the time the playoffs came around, he appeared in 7 postseason games for the Royals. He's a guy that is 17th pick overall in the first round, and the Reds are happy to have him. He was one of 3 left-handers they got in return for Johnny Cueto.
He's made 2 appearances with the Reds this year, but again, as Chris said, this is his first start. Now, going against him from Milwaukee, another youngster, 22-year-old, fellow acquired in a trade, Zach Davies.
Well, he came over from the Baltimore Orioles, and this is really not the bat boy, okay? It is really the starting pitcher tonight. He's a guy that has been told his entire life, you don't throw hard enough, you're not big enough, you're not going to be able to play pro ball, and here he is starting another game for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's a right-hander with not an overpowering fastball, but a very good changeup and an excellent overhand curveball. If he can throw the ball over the plate, which he was not able to do his last time out, he can be a pretty good pitcher out there, but we'll see what they have tonight. We've got a lefty-righty matchup, both very young. Have some patience, folks.
Now, one of the players that he will not have to face tonight in the Reds lineup is Joey Votto.
Well, Joey Votto came down and realized that he was eventually going to have to pay the price to Major League Baseball for going after the umpire in this video, as you see right here. They originally gave him 2 games of suspension. He appealed that. They decided to knock a game off, so Joey Votto has 1 game to serve as a suspension, and it will be served tonight.
Brian Price said he's not here tonight, but he'll be back strong and ready to go tomorrow in the middle game of this 3-game series. All right, we'll step aside. When we come back, the Reds smashing at Miller Park. Jim Day will have more on the Reds offense here in Milwaukee.
that roof tonight. Reds and Brewers, game one of a 3-game weekend set. I'm Jim Day, just outside of the Reds dugout, and the Reds and Brewers going head-to-head, and the Reds would like to win the season series. If you look at our Elk and Elk storylines, it's been a while since Milwaukee has done that to Cincinnati, but it's really the tale of 2 seasons against these head-to-head for these two clubs. The Reds won 4 of the first 5 games, and now the Brewers have turned the tables. Last 10 games, the Brewers have won 8 of those. Brewers coming into tonight lead the season series 9-7. The last time the Reds lost a season series to these Brewers, back in 2006. So it's those little things you play for at this point of a disappointing season. It hasn't been disappointing as far as the offense goes here at Miller Park. The Reds have been mashing at Miller. 7 games, just under 6 runs a game. 11 home runs have been hit. A .255 team average. And those runs per game and those home runs, highest of any visiting ballpark. So the Reds do indeed like to hit here, but they'll have to do it tonight, as the boys talked about, without Joey Votto. But it is the starting debut of Brandon Finnegan, the lefty that came over from the Cueto trade. Something to be excited about. Can't wait to see what happens. We'll find out next on Fox Sports Ohio.
It was just about 2.5, 3 weeks ago when they were up here to take on this Brewers club, and that series lost 2 out of 3. Let's see what Brian Price's club can do here as they visit Milwaukee for the final time in 2015. Zach Davies, a 22-year-old on the mound for Milwaukee. He made a good comment. He looks like the bat boy out there.
Well, he does, and he's probably used to that, though, because he's been diminutive, if you want to call it that, pretty much his whole life. He was a kid that when he played high school ball in Gilbert, Arizona, that's right in around the suburbs of Phoenix, he was a middle infielder. Didn't start pitching until he was a junior in high school, but he rocketed through the minor leagues of the Baltimore Orioles, mainly because he's got real good changeup and a nice curveball.
He gets Jason Bourgeois to get this one started. First pitch in there for a strike. We are underway from Milwaukee. First game of this series. 4th game of the 9-game road trip. On closes in on this one, and he makes the catch, and that's how this game begins. Take a look at the rest of the Reds lineup, brought to you by Meyer. Bourgeois, the leadoff man. Here comes Skip Schumacher, then Brandon Phillips. Frazier, Bruce, and Suarez in the middle of the lineup. Duvall gets a start at first base with Votto serving the suspension tonight. Barnhart catches, and Finnegan does the pitching and bats ninth. Schumacher getting the start in left field in this game. He had the start in left field and hit 8th in the game on Wednesday. And boy, he hit the ball hard. He had 3 hits. Hit the ball hard all 4 times he was up there. Comes into the game at .231 with a homer, 19 runs driven in. That 3-hit game on Wednesday was his 2nd of the year. He also had one very early this year against the White Sox. And he hits this ball hard and out into left center. That'll fall for a hit. Chris Davis will get it back in. Skip Schumacher seeing the ball well. He is aboard here with 1 out.
He got 3 fastballs in a row. That last one was meant to be out of the zone a little bit, and it may have been a little bit down, but he stayed right with it and punks it in left field. Pretty good job by Schumacher. Anybody who comes off the bench with as many pinch hits as Skip Schumacher can hit a fastball.
Well, he seems destined, what we have 2.5 weeks to go in the year, seems destined to set the franchise record for pinch hits in a season. He has 18. The record is 20. Held by Jacob Cruz. Did that back in 05.
So what are you saying? He's going to go to Brian Price and say, bench me or trade me? I mean, it's the only way he's going to get that record. You can't start these games.
Well, he won't. We know he won't get it obviously tonight. Joe West calling the balls and strikes tonight.
Well, that's where you have to live if you're throwing 89 miles an hour. And I think it's refreshing to see a young man like Zach Davies on the mound, a guy that, you know, has shown that he can get hitters out all the way through the minor leagues by not throwing the ball 95 miles an hour. I think there are a lot of kids that have been left out who can pitch if you give them an opportunity, but they just don't rack it up there high enough on the radar gun.
Well, you have the combination of him being a slight of build young man anyway, and then the baggy uniforms that these guys wear these days.
Nowadays, you don't see too many pitchers that run it up there out of a uniform that is carrying 160 pounds, and that's about where he weighs right now, soaking wet. Davies has 4 pitches that he throws. That last one was a changeup. He'll throw that around 79 miles an hour or so, and he throws it a lot. He'll throw his curveball, he'll throw his a cutter a little bit, but mostly fastball, change, and then curve in that order.
Unlike Finnegan, who's starting for the Reds tonight for the first time in the big leagues, this young man has 3 starts under his belt. A bad one, a good one in the middle, and then another bad one his last time out. But that good one he had at Miami, 7-inning effort.
Well, the last time he went out and he walked 5 batters in 3 2/3 innings. So, you know, you're going to get that with young pitchers, a good game and a bad game. But obviously, you've got to be around the plate. Ask any of the Reds' young pitchers what they've learned up here this year. It's about throwing strikes.
Brandon laid off a close one and a full count. Phillips comes off a 5-hit, 3 RBI trip in San Francisco. Again, he's pushing that 300 mark. Starts the game at 294. On the move, the runner, and that is ball 4. And so Davies, as Chris just mentioned, walked 5 his last time out at Pittsburgh. Walks 1 here in the first. Take a look at the Brewers defensively, brought to you by your Ford dealers. They line up tonight like this: Davis in left, Santana in center, Braun in right, Perez and Segura left side, Herrera, Rogers right side of the infield, a battery of Davies and Martin Maldonado. RBI opportunity early in this game now for Todd Frazier. Both those career highs, those power numbers, 34 long ones, 85 runs batted in. Hammers this one into left. Schumacher was going back the other way, thinking the ball may be caught. They're going to test the arm of Davis, and he will score. And that's a great read by Jim Riggleman because he knows the arm, Chris, of Chris Davis.
Well, Chris Davis doesn't have much of an arm, but you got to blame that on the shortstop, Gene Segura, or at least miscommunication out there. Segura's got a rocket arm, and he's the relay man. We're going to show you where he comes into this picture as this ball is hit in the left field. Segura's right here. He's saying, hey, get me the ball, get me the ball. I don't know whether that ball was not cuttable or what, but had he cut it and turned and fired to the plate, it may have been a different outing right there. And oh, he just threw it right over the head of the cutoff man. Boy, when you throw rainbows, you should at least hit the cutoff man. And really, arms of outfielders is sometimes an overrated asset. Because really, if you break it down, an outfielder really no more has to throw a ball longer than about 150 feet. That's about how far the infielder should run out to the outfielder. So Segura knows that Davis can't throw. Davis has got no arm. Segura's got a terrific arm. That young man should have been out there to get that ball, and Davis should have hit him. So you wonder why these two teams are playing for last place.
Early advantage Cincinnati. RBI 86 for Todd Frazier. Moving just the one run with that 10th inning home run on Tuesday out in San Francisco. He's at first. Phillips out at second. Big chance for Bruce. And the ball is bobbled by Herrera. He'll get the runner at first. That was an inning-ending double play in the making. But Herrera bobbles the ball. Bruce is out 4-3, but the runners move to second and third, and a chance for Suarez.
Boy, this looks like DP laying all the way, and Herrera just has that ball come up on him. Is able to still get an out of it, so no error on that. That's one of the oddities of baseball scoring, because if you're a pitcher out there, you're thinking, could I give you an easier ground ball for a double play than that? Now runners still in scoring position, two of them.
Here's Suarez. Starts the game at 284. And he's hit very well with runners in scoring position. 291 on the year for Cincinnati in those situations. Trying to come through here thanks to the bobble by Herrera that has kept his first inning alive.
The Reds have not had a hard time scoring runs. You mentioned that. They have already surpassed the number of runs that they scored last year. They've scored now 596 runs. Last year they scored, or excuse me, 592 runs. They're only 3 off of what they scored last year. That's what I'm saying. They're going to blow right on by the number of runs they scored last year, but they find themselves much lower in the standings and buried it down around last place around now.
Reds start the day 1/2 game behind this Milwaukee club in the NL Central. Reds 61 and 84. Milwaukee 62 and 84. Suarez will strike out there. The Reds leave a pair, but do get on the board first in the first. And now Brandon Finnegan to the mound for the Reds. Is lefty Brandon Finnegan, 20 minor league starts. Big starter at TCU, as Chris mentioned, in college. But Chris, start number 1 here in the big league.
Well, this is where he wants to be, pitching once every 5th day. He did that down in college when he was with TCU as mostly a starter. When the Royals needed him last year, they needed a reliever, a lefty, and he came in and he appeared in 7 postseason games in his rookie year, having just been drafted the earlier June. By the fall, he was in postseason. This year, he's in a different uniform. In fact, he's worn 5 different uniforms this year already. 3 in Kansas City, 1 in AA, AAA, and then Major Leagues of Kansas City. And, of course, he played for Louisville, and now in the Major Leagues with the Reds, making start number 1. Fastball, slider, changeup, pretty much the repertoire of Brandon Finnegan.
He gets Gene Segura to lead things off in the bottom of number 1. And Hernan Perez, then Ryan Braun. Then staked to a modest 1-0 lead. 5'11", 185. Born and raised in Fort Worth. High school there, college there. Segura, 270 with 5 home runs. He's driven in 46. Been hitting the ball well as of late. 318 in his last month's worth of play. Brewers come into this game having lost 6 in a row. They were swept by the Cardinals, who were playing the Brewers here last night while the Reds were in town enjoying the off day. Craig Counsell, in his first year as manager of this club, took over very early for Ron Renicky. Has a contract through the 2017 season. Six-game losing streak, their 5th streak this season of at least 6 games on the losing side of things. They're going to finish under 500 here at home. They only have these 3 and then 3 at the end of the year left at Miller Park. Low throw, but Adam Duvall, nice job scooping that thing out of the dirt, saving an error for Suarez. Take a look at Milwaukee's lineup. Segura leading off, and then we'll see Hernan Perez step up there now. Braun is 3rd. Chris Davis, Jason Rogers, and then Domingo Santana. Elian Herrera, Martin Maldonado, and Zach Davies rounds things out. First pitch swinging Perez. Bourgeois will handle it. But Adam Duvall getting his first start at first base wearing a Reds uniform. He had made some starts there last year with San Francisco, and he's asked where he likes to play. First and third are his positions. Not much room over there at first.
Well, in the order, he would say first base is first, and he scoops this one out of the dirt, saves an error for Eugenio Suarez. He'll play third base, play a little outfield also, mainly left field.
2 out for Ryan Braun. On another one, swinging a hot bat over the course of his last 30 games at 363. Overall at 289.
Yeah, that 363 number is almost exactly what he has hit off the Reds' last 15 games. Except he has done some damage.
Phillips will throw him out here, and a good start for the Reds, and Brandon Finnegan down in order. Go the Brewers. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. By Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. Roof closed on this Friday night here in Milwaukee. Adam Duvall leads things off here in the top of number 2. It's a chance at first base tonight with Joey Votto sitting out, serving the 1-game suspension, reduced from 2 due to what was labeled by MLB as inappropriate actions toward the umpire in that game 9 days ago in Cincinnati. Three home runs. That's all the hits that he has collected with this Reds club this year. 3 hits and 18 at bats. 9 strikeouts. Zach doing a lot of, or Adam I should say, doing a lot of glad handing out there in San Francisco. He knew a lot of those guys from his time in the Giants organization.
He was well liked out there, but they did not return the favor to him by throwing him anything on the inner part of the plate. I mean, that's where his real power is. He's got good bat speed. He can hit it out to any part of the ballpark. But what the Giants did was simply stay away from Duvall. Breaking balls away, fastballs away. He got anxious when he had 2 strikes and chased a lot of pitches out of the zone. A little better approach right there.
He had 4 at-bats out in San Francisco and struck out each and every one of them.
Probably a product of trying too hard. You know, you face your old team, you really get your adrenaline going, you want to make something happen, and you end up swinging at pitches that you shouldn't and that you normally don't. Like that one, he was hacking away in San Francisco on that pitch. So the more you play when you're a young player like Duvall, the more the Reds and the evaluators, and they're all here. I'm not just talking about the coaches and manager in uniform, but all of Walt Jocketty's advisors are here at the ballpark. You get a better look at young guys like Duvall.
Well, certainly trying to figure as they already, with 3 weeks to go in the season, a little bit less, planning for 2016. How's this team going to look? Is Adam Duvall going to be in the plans? Is he a guy that they can niche in somewhere and say, I think he fits in here, or not? Hernan Perez will throw Duvall out to start inning number 2.
Remember, the first thing a ball club has to do really at the end of the season is determine how they're going to construct their 40-man roster. You can only protect 40 players in your entire organization from being picked up by another organization. So, you know, you obviously guys like Phillips and Votto and Frazier and so on, those are guys are locks. Then the extra guys you have to figure out, because you have to protect a certain number of minor leaguers who are coming up through the system who have now had enough time in the minor leagues where they either need to be protected or can be exposed to the Rule 5 draft.
Robert Stevenson becomes one of those this offseason.
So it becomes real interesting, you know, when you're evaluating and you're having meetings like Walt Jocketty is having right now with Kevin Towers and Jerry Walker and Cam Bonifay and a lot of his other advisors. You know, they're talking not only about what they may do in a big way with the Reds major league team, but who they're going to protect on their 40-man.
Barnhart hit that thing hard. Unfortunately, Perez standing in the way of it. We've seen Barnhart hit the ball hard and hit it the other way a lot this year. Here's Finnegan now. This is his first big league at bat. In fact, until he was traded away from the Royals to the Reds at the end of July, he had never had a professional at bat, much like we talked about John Lamb. Finnegan, in the time he spent down in Louisville, had 3 at bats down there. Actually 4 at bats down there. 3 in 1 game. Was 0 for 4. So that's what he is professionally. First time in a big league game here, stepping to the dish. Going to be a tough play. Herrera gets it, throws, got him, then he get out, and the Reds go in order in the second.
For Cincinnati around the outfield on this evening. It is Schumacher, Bourgeois, Bruce, Frazier, Suarez, Phillips, and Adam Duvall at first base. And speaking of Adam Duvall, Brandon Phillips, first time he's playing alongside Adam Duvall at first base. You know the little quirks of the game that they have? Well, Brandon Phillips has one. Each time they throw it around in the half inning, he said, the first throw has to be in the air. Do not throw me a grounder on the first one, or I will just watch it go right into the infield. And Duvall, being a good rookie, did his job.
Chris Davis does his job for the Brewers. He gets the long ball. Number 22, and the Brewers have tied this game at 1.
I wonder if Chris Davis feels a little bit like Todd Frazier did the other night in San Francisco. Frazier booted a ball, later came back and hit a home run. In this ball game, Davis has already missed a cutoff man with a rainbow throw, but he hits a long rainbow. At the end of this one is some gold as he puts the Brewers on the board.
So 8 pitches to get 3 outs quickly in the first inning for Finnegan. 1 pitch for the Brewers to tie things here in the bottom of number 2. That's Jason Rogers playing over at first base tonight. Reds score in the first on the RBI single by Frazier. Brewers tied here with number 22 for Chris Davis. That now equals the number that he hit 1 year ago. So his next will be his career high. Hopefully it will not come this weekend. to it out to left center. Nobody can cut it off. It goes to the wall. Bourgeois will get it back in. That's a ringing double for Jason Rogers. Number 6 for him.
You leave a breaking ball up to a guy who is as strong as Jason Rogers, and make no mistake, this man is very powerful. I mean, he gets a sweet part of the bat on that, and it sounds like somebody stacking timber all the way to the wall.
Rogers been up and down a couple of times between Milwaukee and their AAA club at Colorado Springs. Had a big year at AAA this year, and getting a chance to play some first base along with Adam Lind here at the big league level. Finnegan will throw out Santana on another hard hit ball. 3 of them now.
Well, a lot of first pitch swinging here for the Brewers. I mean, they don't know a lot about Finnegan. He did pitch here with the Royals earlier in the year. But there are a lot of guys who've come up here. I don't know how many. I mean, I'll get our note from our statistician any moment, I'm sure, that will let me know how many exactly he has swung out on the first pitch. They've been very aggressive so far tonight.
Well, we know Davis did. We know Santana did. And now it's Elian Herrera. In 246 with 7 home runs. Switch hitter bats from the right side. Like Rogers, Herrera up and down between Colorado Springs and Milwaukee this year. At 357. 56 games at AAA this year. You see a lot of these Milwaukee players with inflated AAA numbers due to where they play. Out at first on the play by Frazier. Rogers over to third.
Well, I guess that would go opposite then for the pitching staff. If you've got a pitch down there, I mean, and you have a high and inflated earned run average, you've got to take that into account.
Former Reds GM Dan O'Brien talking to him down in the field prior to the game. He was talking about that very subject.
Good guy, Dan O'Brien. Still makes his home in the Cincinnati area.
Northern Kentucky.
And so does another former general manager for the Reds, Wayne Krivsky. Still makes his home in Cincinnati.
Here's the catcher, Martin Maldonado. Go ahead run for the Brewers. Rogers over at third. Maldonado getting a chance to play a little bit more than normal due to the fact that Jonathan Lucroy has been out with an injury. Pop up right side. Phillips calls off Duvall, makes the play. After the home run and the double, 3 in a row set down by Finnegan. We're tied through 2. take on Northern Illinois tomorrow at 3:30. Tune into Fox Sports Ohio tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for a preview of the game on Game Time with Urban Meyer. Weekends this time of year, you've got baseball, you've got college football, you've got pro football, you've got golf. You've got a lot going on in the sports world. Got to find something you can love.
You just finished the U.S. Open tennis.
Tennis.
I'm surprised you left tennis out.
Well, there's no big event going on this particular weekend, yeah. Or I would have brought it up. Top of the order now for the Reds here in inning number 3. If you're wondering, the season series between these two clubs stands right now at 9-7 in favor of Milwaukee. A hard hit ball and a good pick by Herrera, whose Law is out to start the 3rd. Brewers need one win in this series to claim the season series. Reds would need to sweep to win the season series. They have not lost a season series to Milwaukee. Jim Day was talking about it earlier. Since 2006, they've been able to dominate this Milwaukee club. Schumacher with one out in the first inning, had a base hit in the left, later scored on the hit by Frazier. Talking the other day about the fact that Schumacher, who's out quickly on strikes, finishing up his 11th year in the big leagues, most of those with the Cardinals, the last 2 with the Reds, contemplating what he's going to do. Play next year, not play next year.
Of course, the big factor on either side, on the play next year's side, would be there are a lot of teams out there that would want Skip Schumacher on their ball club. He's a great guy in the clubhouse. I mean, he is a player that's been on good ball clubs, championship caliber ball clubs, and brings a lot to the table. On the other side, not play next year, he's got young kids at home, and he wants to watch them grow up, and he figures he's saved enough money, and why does he need any more?
Well, if he decides to call it quits, you certainly can't blame him. But if he decides to play, he's a good guy to have back on this club.
You could do a lot worse. Nice little run on that fastball. You know, it's funny how a pitcher who throws 88, 89 miles an hour doesn't get very much respect anymore, even at the college D1 level. I mean, unless you're busting 90 miles an hour, a lot of coaches aren't even looking at you. Zach Davies turned down a scholarship to the Arizona State University in order to sign as a 26th round draft pick by the Baltimore Orioles. And he didn't throw much hard. He doesn't throw much harder now than he did back then. But hitters don't hit the radar gun. They hit what they see. So if you can be a little bit deceptive, if you can hit your spots, if you have a little bit of movement, move the ball around, there's no reason why he can't win at this level.
Well, he's set down 7 in a row now since Frazier's base hit that gave the Reds the early lead. Trying to make it 8 if he can handle Phillips, who he walked his first time. His first half, second half splits. Very respectable first half, but from an average standpoint, very good second half.
I think he's changed his hitting style completely, really, since a couple of years ago. He may not agree with this, but from what I see, you know, there were times a few years ago that Brandon Phillips would take at least one swing in every at bat where he's trying to launch the ball to the moon, and you don't see him doing that now. You pitch him outside, he takes the ball the other way. You pitch him in, he's pulling it down the line.
Hard at Segura, who throws him out, so is indeed 8 in a row retired by the right-hander Zach Davies. 76 at Great American Ballpark. Make sure you arrive early. Be one of the first 25,000 to receive a commemorative All-Star Game figurine presented by your Tri-State Chevy dealers. For tickets, 513-381-REDS. You go to select Kroger locations or go to reds.com/tickets. Brandon Finnegan, he and Zach Davies embroiled in a 1-1 affair here in the bottom of the third. They face off against one another here. Davies 1 out of 7 as a hitter. We talked about Finnegan wearing 5 different uniforms this year between the Royals and the Reds organizations. Davies has worn 3. He pitched for Norfolk, Baltimore's AAA club. Upon the trade over here, he pitched for Colorado Springs, the Brewers AAA team, and now up here in the big leagues. Gerardo Parra was the Brewer player that went the other way to Baltimore, bringing Davies over here. How about the incident that took place here last night, Chris, with Jimmy Nelson having that ball glaze off right off his head and in the foul ground beyond third base last night?
Well, it was a ground rule double. They awarded it. And it was a very scary moment when a pitcher gets hit in the head the way he was hit last night. I mean, that ball got on him right now.
If you want to turn away, we're going to show it, but here's what happened last night here at Miller Park. Tommy Pham at the plate for the Cardinals. Jimmy Nelson actually walked off under his own power toward the clubhouse. He eventually went to the hospital. Spent the night there last night. And is going to spend the night again tonight just to have everything checked out, make sure he's all right. Those kind of moments, well, you just hope and pray that everything works out all right. Cardinals won that game, but they lost today in Chicago to the Cubs. Lance Lynn having some problems staying in games here lately for St. Louis.
Well, and not only that, the Cubs were very angry after the ball game today, because it was Matt Belisle towards the end of that ball game that he hit Anthony Rizzo with a pitch with 2 out and nobody on, and it was clearly, at least in the mind of Joe Madden, in retaliation for a hit by pitch earlier in the game when Danny Herron hit Matt Holliday, I think. Hit him in the head, and so as things worked out, Danny Herron actually went up to Anthony Rizzo during the game before he was hit and said, "I'm going to apologize to you right now for what they're going to do to you at some point in this ball game. They're going to drill you. I know how things work. I've been around a long time. I didn't mean to hit Holliday, but I know how they work in the major leagues." And Joe Madden, after the game, in his comments, was furious at the way it was handled by the Cardinals.
He said, "We don't start things like this, but we know how to finish them." That's one of the quotes from Joe Madden. And from the Cardinals standpoint, Matt Holliday has been on the DL for the longest time with that quad injury. It occurred against the Reds in late July. This was only his second plate appearance back. He was quoted after the game saying he was fine and he expects to be in there tomorrow for the Cardinals. Things are heating up between the Cardinals and the Cubs. Not only on the field, but in the standings. That Cubs win today means they are 6 games behind the front-running Cardinals. Snap St. Louis's 4-game winning streak. Cubs have now won 4 games in a row. The real race there still seems to be between Pittsburgh and the Cubs as to who will be the home team in the National League wild card game. Pittsburgh has hosted it 2 years in a row. 2 years ago beat the Reds. Last year lost to the Giants. Instead of where they are right now, the Pirates would host the Cubs at PNC Park. Here's what we're talking about standings wise. Game and a half now separate the Cubs and the Pirates for second place. 2 games in the loss column.
And of course the Pirates were dealt a major blow last night when they lost their shortstop.
Hard slide to the second.
Broken fibia and tibia and a knee problem, out for the year is Gung, their Korean shortstop, who was one of the better players in the league this year.
They took a chance in signing him, and it really, really worked out. Pirates play on the West Coast tonight at the Dodgers. Jeff Locke against Zach Greinke. Cubs fans will be Dodger fans tonight, and if Greinke can get number 18, they would start baseball tomorrow, only 1 game behind that Pirate club.
Good luck winning any game against Greinke this year.
Nice backhand pick, low throw, and a scoop by Duvall. Out at first is Perez, and in order in the third go the Brewers. About last night in Pittsburgh, yesterday in Pittsburgh, Cubs, Pirates. Chris Coghlan took out Gung at second base. You see, Gung had a step and a half or so, Chris, away from the bag. And Coghlan.
No, still legal. It was a legal play.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you want to call it a dirty play by Coghlan or not, that's up to you. But it is certainly within legal standards because Coghlan could reach the bag and touch the bag as he slid into second base. Now, it used to be before they made that rule that you could go out and take out a middle infielder anywhere. And, I mean, there were examples of that happening all over the infield years and years ago. They tightened that rule up. A lot of second basemen and shortstops, when they cover the bag, will use the bag as protection. And they won't get into that area where Gung was right there trying to turn that double play. The other thing to consider is that in Asia, Korea, Japan, Taiwan, where those countries are playing baseball over there, they play a much more gentlemanly game of baseball. And they don't pitch inside the way they do in the States, or at least they used to do in the States. And they don't play hard at second base like that either. And Gung may just have not, he was brought up in an environment where he's not seeing that style of play, and that may have contributed to the fact where he was when he tried to turn that double play.
There are those on the other side of things who are saying, well, infielders are already being protected with the neighborhood play. You cannot appeal in a neighborhood play. You cannot challenge a neighborhood play out at second base.
Well, that's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Is that you're trying to protect them. I'm not sure how much more you can put into the language.
Right.
And still, keep the game the same and protect the player.
Hit well toward left center off the bat of Jay Bruce, and the Reds will regain the lead on a home run by Jay. That is his 22nd of the year, and for Bruce, that now breaks a tie for 8th all-time in Reds franchise history, number 204 in the Reds' career of Jay Bruce. He now stands alone at 8th, breaking a tie with Eric Davis.
Jay Bruce hits this ball, and the first indication is watch the outfielders because they hardly move on that. That is the 10th home run that he has hit at Miller Park. And that makes it the most of any visiting ballpark that he has hit home runs in.
So a home run by Milwaukee ties it. A home run by Bruce, number 22 of the year, gives the Reds the lead again at 2-1. They had one in San Francisco, and he gets one here in Milwaukee. Overall, including Great American Ballpark on here, 31 against the Brewers by Jay Bruce. Suarez going to get himself an extra base hit here, two-bagger, so the Reds have an opportunity to add to their lead. Number 18, doubles department for Suarez.
Suarez struck out on a fastball his first time up, chased the pitch up out of the zone, and that time 89 miles an hour, got around on it a little bit late, but was able to get the bat head on it and keep it fair for a double.
Here's Duvall now with one on, one out, one in. This one off the glove of Perez, rolls down the left field line. That's going to chase home Suarez. Duvall into second. He's there with a two-base hit, and it has been a two-run inning, and it is now 3-1 Reds. But Perez has had some balls hit hard at him already early in this game.
You mentioned it early on, Jim, that the Reds were really hitting the ball very sharply off the Brewers pitcher, Zach Davies, tonight. And even some of their outs have been hard. Duvall hit a shot down there to third base his last time up, which was fielded. That one not fielded by Aaron Perez.
So Duvall gets his first hit that is not a home run with the Reds. 4 hits, 3 homers, and now a double. The slugging percentage is going to be through the roof.
Oh, you mean there goes your slugging percentage. It was through the roof.
RBI number 6 for Duvall. Here's Tucker Barnhart. Tucker hit the ball hard and righted Perez, the third baseman, his first time. Davies had retired 9 in a row when he struck out Frazier to begin this inning. Then the home run by Bruce the other way. The double into the right field corner by Suarez. The double by Duvall off the glove of Perez down the left field line. So 3 straight hits, all extra base hits. 2 runs and a 3-1 Reds lead. Those uniforms the Brewers are wearing tonight, those are throwback uniforms. Back in the late 70s, most of the 80s, and into the early 90s for the Brewers. Second walk issued by Davies. 4 straight now have reached for Cincinnati. Just a reminder that as you enjoy the game tonight, we look forward to bringing you our Miller Time moment of the game a little bit later on, brought to you by Miller Lite. Barnhart joins Duvall on the bases. Chance for Finnegan now to bunt them along. Bourgeois on deck.
You can blame, you really cannot blame Brandon Finnegan if he's unable to get this bunt down. He probably has not practiced it that much. What his job is, of course, is to get it down to the third baseman. Make Perez field it. If you hit it hard enough down this line, it doesn't matter how hard you hit it. Actually, harder is better than softer if you get it to the left side of the infield.
You want that third base from the field then, right?
Absolutely.
Out in front of the plate. Perez will eventually grab it and throw. So Finnegan gets the job done. Sacrifice number 1 for him in his career. Second and third with 2 out and a chance for Bourgeois. Almost a little confusion there between Maldonado and Perez. Who's going to get it? You get it. You get it. Nobody got it for a second. Finally, Perez grabbed it. Here's Bourgeois. He's flied out. Hard ground ball. A nice play by Herrera out at second. Threw him out in the third. Chance for him here. Second and third, 2 down. Billy Hamilton, by the way, not with the club right now. Back in Cincinnati, having an MRI on his shoulder. See what Bourgeois gets here now at 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, he's got a base open, so there's no reason if you're Davies to throw him one down the middle.
He gets a ground ball to Herrera, and that will end the inning. But a good one for the Reds. They get a pair, highlighted by a Bruce home run. 22nd of the year, 204th of his Reds career. On a new twist. When the Reds return to Great American Ballpark on Thursday, the home run target is getting a whole lot bigger. Instead of a Reds player having to hit the Toyota hit and win sign, the first Reds player to hit a home run into the sun/moon deck seats will win a new Tundra that's been on display all year for a fan chosen for that game. You can register now at your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Chances just got a whole lot better to win. That's starting Thursday when the Reds get home.
Well, you better get in there in a hurry because that may happen the very first night.
Very, very possible. Won't that be something? You're going from a postage stamp to hit to a football field. It's going to be big. Brandon Finnegan back to the mound, working with a lead of 2 at 3-1. Got Braun on a ground ball his first time. He gets ahead of him here, 2 strikes. Braun disagrees with the call of Joe West.
That was a fastball there, but the slider that you see Brandon Finnegan feature now is a new and improved slider that he picked up from a teammate when he played for Team USA, the collegiate team. College players in 2013. It's a team that went to Japan. They ended up having a 5-0 sweep against Cuba, 13-0 in exhibition play, and Brandon Finnegan logged more innings for that team than anybody else. It was coached by his TCU coach, Jim Schlossnagle. Anyway, one of his teammates is Carlos Rodon. Now, the Reds saw Rodon, a left-handed pitcher, very talented pitcher, taken 3rd in the draft by the White Sox. They saw him earlier this year. Well, Rodon and Finnegan were teammates, and that is when Rodon showed him how to throw his slider a little bit better. And up until that time, Finnegan said, I had kind of a loopy slider. It was thrown at about 78 miles an hour. It really wasn't doing very much. Rodon showed me a new grip, told me to throw it as hard as I could. I was throwing it in the mid-80s from then on, and nobody could touch it. And that may be one of the reasons why he ended up being a first-round pick in 2014, just like the guy who showed him the pitch, Carlos Rodon.
Funny how the little things like that come out of nowhere, help you move up big time. Two and two now to Braun. All-star this year for the 6th time in his career. Replaced the injured Matt Holliday, whom we were talking about earlier. Got ahead of him 0-2. Loses Braun. That is walk number 1 for Finnegan. Batter now is Chris Davis. He's in the driver's seat tonight. Brought to you by Kia. Big power man as of late for Chris Davis. 17 home runs since August the 1st. Tied for most in the National League, including that ball he hit in the 2nd inning. Tied for the most with Yoenis Cespedes of the Mets. I see the story came out today. Cespedes says, I think I'm looking at a 6-year deal after this year. He has really infused that Mets club. That one way up. Look at athletically. Finnegan made the catch. The ball hit the
rafter.
Wire. How about Finnegan staying with that ball, though, and making the catch of that thing? Brian Price going to come out.
Well, the ball was hit a mile high, and maybe would have gone a mile and a half had it not hit the roof. Boy, he's an athlete there.
Hit one of the cables supporting the roof on top. Came back down, took a wild turn away from Frazier, but Finnegan, about as athletic you can get right there.
I did not know the ground rules here. Of course, like most media guys, the ground rules aren't in it. And what do they call that?
Apparently they're calling that a foul ball.
Okay.
I'm not sure why.
Maybe it hit the, maybe in the eyes of the umpire, it hit the cable in foul territory.
Yeah. About the only thing you could guess on that, really, because the ball was caught. But as soon as it touches the wire, it's dead. Well, that's a first. How about you? Ron going to move up. That ball gets away.
Chris Davis is certainly a lift and separate guy. There is batting numbers with runners in scoring position. But he is looking something out over the plate, but not too far out, not too down, up, something that he can just let rip. Watch his front foot. I mean, this is the telltale sign of what a hitter really wants to do with a pitch. And if that foot goes towards the third base line at all, and in Davis's case, it points more towards the shortstop when he takes that stride. It will go this way. And when it does that, he's clearing his hips for something to pull. And even slightly like that, I mean, you start square and you end up just slightly open. A little harder to tell from that angle, but you see him opening up already. There's a guy not committed to hitting the ball to right field at all. So there's no reason why you shouldn't do anything except keep the ball down and away from him. And preferably something slow. So a 2-2 changeup on the outside block will be looking real good right now. And that's what it was.
Nice job by the battery combination of Finnegan and Barnhart. They get Davis. Back to the dugout he goes. Strikeout number 1 for Finnegan.
And he's got the changeup grip. He sells it like a fastball. He throws it down, and Davis can't hold back.
That's Jason Rogers batting with Braun out at second base and 1 out. Braun walked, went to second, what was charged as a pass ball. Against Barnhart. Rogers doubled to left center his first time.
Well, like usual, I was wrong about the ground rules not being in the media guide. Didn't see it tucked away back there, but what we speculated was true, that if a ball hits the cable or roof in foul territory, then it's a foul ball whether anybody catches it or not. If it hits the cable or roof in fair territory, then it is a live ball, right?
It is. Now, the thing I don't understand here is a batted ball striking the roof cable over foul territory. If caught by a fielder, the batter is out.
Read below that.
And runners advance at their own risk, but Davis stayed at the plate even though that ball was caught.
Batted ball striking the roof of truss or roof cable over foul territory. It's a foul ball regardless of where it strikes the ground.
True, but it says if caught by a fielder, the batter is out and runners advance at their own risk. And that ball was caught.
Well, that's a rule that contradicts each other from one sentence to the next.
Correct.
They probably shouldn't put that rule in the book after all.
We get a walk to Rogers. 2 walks in the inning by Finnegan. Yes, who's in the Milwaukee Brewers media guide with a batted ball striking a roof cable over fair territory. The ball shall be judged fair or foul when it strikes the ground as to where it touches. Foul territory where it strikes the ground or is touched by a fielder. If caught by a fielder, the batter is out. That's what the ground rule says, but that's not what they did. Colin Ballister gets up, starts to throw now in the Reds bullpen. Finnegan at 52 pitches. He works here in the 4th. Remember, he has not started a game in 2 weeks since he pitched in Louisville. He made 8 starts down there, the last 2 of which were at 88 pitches. That was on the 4th of September against Columbus. He worked out of the bullpen 2 times for the Reds. One out into the 4th.
He's got a big swing, Domingo Santana does, and he's got big time power too. You can see that he's kind of goes to the school of big swings that Chris Davis goes to. Thinking about grabbing home run number 6 with that swing. His power really is to right field. And he likes the ball down a little bit more than he likes the ball up.
He was a key acquisition from Houston in the deal that sent Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers from Milwaukee over to Houston. AAA All-Star this year, big power out in the PCL at Fresno before coming over here.
You know, they compare him to Vladimir Guerrero, and he looks a little bit like Vladimir Guerrero with the beard the way it is. Of course, Guerrero did not wear batting gloves, and he would swing just about every pitch he saw. By the way, if you do look on MLB.com and then ferret your way through the ground rules, you'll find ground rules for every ballpark. And it does say here what I think the media guide should say, which is if it strikes the roof in foul territory, it's a dead ball.
Okay. So this really, what we were reading is incorrect.
That was put in there by Mike Masala.
Mike's have to change that next year. Mike is the media relations director here at Milwaukee and the longtime assistant media relations director in Cincinnati. Santana hit the ball hard his first time, right back to Finnegan. Making the left-hander work here. Talked about Zach Davies being slight of build. He's 6 foot 160. Finnegan about the same height at 5'11", but a bit more stocky at 185. Runner goes to third without a throw. A strikeout of Santana. Second out of the inning. Give Braun a steal, his 24th.
You like that about Finnegan. He's got enough mustard on the ball that he can go up in the zone right there against a right-handed hitter and throw that four-seam fastball right by him. We like it so much, we'll make it our flamethrower, brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce. Had some of that tonight and spilled it on my shirt. I know it tastes good. I hope it doesn't stain.
Need one of those stain sticks. Carry with you on the road. Gail may have one to borrow from her. Stage managers, they have everything.
Yeah, you're right.
Carry everything that you need. Braun gets the steal of third, his 24th. He's over there. At first base is Rogers, 2 out. Leon Herrera, the batter now. He grounded out to Frazier his first time. Tying runs aboard for the Brewers. Reds up 3-1 here in the home fourth. Ballister still out there in the Reds bullpen. Pitches by inning by Finnegan. You see that 8 spot in the first. A very good start. In fact, the first 2. This inning, run that total up a little bit. But there's a strike away. 4 innings worth of work completed here in his first big league start. He would, of course, need to get through this inning and the next inning, qualify for the potential win.
Yeah, he already picked up 3 wins earlier this season. In 14 appearances when he pitched all in relief. Even picked up a save there for Kansas City earlier in the year.
Got him on strikes. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Finnegan. Brewers leave him at the corners in the inning. The Reds have the advantage through 4.
Milwaukee Bucks, Jason Kidd on hand tonight, signing autographs before the game. And hopefully for Jason Kidd, his point guard will deliver better passes on the court than he delivered a first pitch last night. Let's take it back to last night. Michael Carter Williams, and here comes, in honor of Brewers announcer, just a bit outside. And the poor camera operator as well. Hit the camera operator square. Not what you're looking for when you're throwing out the ceremonial first pitch.
Well, you know what's amazing about that is that those guys throw what we call baseball passes on the court all the time. They'll get a pass, grab it with one hand and throw it down the floor, and they make a perfectly good throw. Here,
usually much to the chagrin of their coaches.
fact is, they get it done. That smaller baseball, the smaller ball, throws them all out of whack, doesn't it? It's white, not orange. They have sleeves on, which they don't normally have. Throws them all off their game. A month from now, the NBA season will be ready to gear itself up. Starts right near the end of October. Halloween weekend usually is the first games. Zach Davies, 72 pitches through 4 innings here tonight. Works on Schumacher here to start the 5th. Milwaukee starters have not been near the top of the league, obviously, this year. In fact, closer to the bottom. They're 13th going into this game out of 15 National League teams in terms of ERA from their starters.
Second time in a row that Schumacher has gone down on strikes, and second time in a row he has gone on that changeup.
So you keep up with the pennant races and true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on over 400 supported devices, real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV today. Pitch tracking widget. You probably use that all the time, don't you?
I'm not sure what that is. I do use PitchFX a lot, and use MLB.com an awful lot to try to figure out pitches that I can't figure out for myself. They'll do it for you.
Maybe the widget does that.
I also saw a new product down on the internet somewhere. I'm not sure if it's been released yet, but it's in development, where it's a little device that sticks on the back of your phone, like your iPhone.
Okay.
And you can hold it up by a screen and turn your iPhone into a radar gun. And it would work, I imagine, for tennis, or it would work for baseball. So scouts would no longer have to carry around a separate suitcase with a radar gun in it.
Of course, if they get a phone call when they're tracking a pitch, then they might have a problem.
But unless they're making a fast call.
Yes, that's right. Did you pre-order one?
You know me pretty well, don't you?
Probably pre-ordered one.
No, I didn't, and I'm not that big of a fan of a radar gun, really.
Strong throw by Segura, and out is the call. Phillips disagrees over there with Rob Grigg. Let's see if the Reds elect to take a look at this. They'll certainly look at it down below. Nothing out of the dugout and Brian Price as of yet.
Well, again, we talked about Segura and why he should have gotten involved in that relay play in the first inning, and that's why.
Joe West looking over at the Reds dugout, and they are apparently not going to challenge this. So Phillips is the second out here in the 5th. Credit Segura with a very nice play, and you're dead on in terms of the strength of his arm. So now it's Frazier with 2 out, nobody on. Puts a charge into this ball into center, but Santana is there to handle it. The Reds, for the 3rd time in 5 innings, go down in order. Brandon Finnegan had a tough chore in that fourth inning, Chris, but he was able to work out of it.
Well, what I like so far, what I like so much about Brandon Finnegan so far is that his ability to go up the ladder with that four-seam fastball when all else fails. He got his last 2 strikeouts against Santana and Herrera on that pitch. He fooled Davis on a changeup. So when you got a little mustard to back up everything else, it's a nice thing to have.
Maldonado lays into this ball to the alley in left center. He's going to get himself a 2-base hit. So Finnegan will be under the gun right away here in the bottom of the 5th. Leadoff 2-base hit by the catcher Maldonado.
Yeah, he's a good fastball hitter, and he gets a cookie pretty much right down Broadway early in the count. Of course, Maldonado will be getting all of the playing time here with Jonathan Lucroy out at least for the near future with concussion syndromes. He got hit with a foul pitch off the mask the other night, got him square, actually got his jaw, and he is not going to catch anytime soon.
This is the 9th straight game that he's been out. Here's a look at it.
Here's the foul tip that Lucroy got. And you can see him wince at the end of that. I mean, just essentially double over. Ooh, that is scary. And there are a lot of people working on ways to try to alleviate that impact when a ball hits a catcher's mask. I know that they've experimented with different material inside of a catcher's mask. You see now the hockey masks being more and more by catchers than the old-fashioned, mask that has straps. There's a gentleman out in California working on the strapping to change the angle of the strapping, and it has that mask fly off. Good bunt there.
Frazier gets it on to Phillips. Davies is out. Sacrifice for the Milwaukee pitcher is his first of his career. Talking about catcher's mask, Jim Day, you've got some more to add to this.
Well, Tucker Barnhart wore that hockey-style mask. He wore it last year in the first part of this year, despite wearing the normal mask throughout most of his career in the minor leagues. And he switched because he says his head was just too small. Underneath that hockey mask, he would still have to wear a regular baseball cap to make it fit, and it's much heavier. So he said it was wear and tear on his neck after catching 3 or 4 days in a row. So he gave up a little bit of safety for more comfort. He has gone back to the old school mask.
Of course, the straps that hold that mask on, they hold that mask very tightly on the helmet. And one of the theories is that if you loosen the strap in a way that you still keep the mask secure, that when the ball hits it, the mask will more or less fly off, and with it take some of the impact off the face and jaw and head area. Gentleman out in California, we're working on that, and he's invented the Davy strap. We don't know if it works, but I know that there are people working on it as we speak.
You had him up in the booth in San Diego, as I recall.
Actually, yeah, we did have him up in the booth, and Davey's an older gentleman, maybe a little bit older than me. He volunteered to put the mask on and take an Aroldis Chapman fastball.
He did not.
Off the mask. He absolutely did. And we just couldn't find the proper wording in the legal documents that would be necessary
to say no.
I mean, that would be a waiver with a capital W right there.
You bet. Gurr went down and sliced that ball hard, but right at Adam Duvall. Maldonado had to stay put. Now it's Perez with a runner third, 2 out. Finnegan an out away from qualifying for the victory. You mentioned he had 3 wins and a save this year with Kansas City. You also talked earlier about the fact that he had worn 5 uniforms this year, including the Reds, but only in those games in Kansas City did he post a win. AA and AAA. Royals organization, nothing. Louisville, nothing in terms of a win. Nothing yet here at the big leagues with the Reds, but only with Kansas City.
Well, how about Frazier getting all the way down to the other end of the tarp on that pop-up? I mean, he went a long way, and he was booking it.
September 18th, your team woefully out of it, but that's how Todd Frazier plays the game.
It doesn't matter how far you're out. If you're the type of player that energizes your teammates, you do it all the time.
You'll love to see it.
And those are the intangibles that goes along with the numbers that are sometimes overlooked.
Next pitch will be number 75 for Brandon Finnegan, and their action in the Reds bullpen does continue. This could very well be the end of the line for Finnegan in his first big league start. He gets strike 3 called against Hernan Perez. Nice job done by Brandon Finnegan, his 4th strikeout of the game. And through 5, with Finnegan now qualified for his first Reds win. Reds are in front 3-1. FS1 continues to be your home for postseason action with the American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment of the drama and history. It all begins October the 8th on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Brandon Finnegan getting the glad hand in the dugout. He's finished for the night. 5 innings worth of 1 run, 3-hit baseball. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 75 pitches. Did a pretty good job, didn't he?
Well, did a great job, Finnegan did, and he's got to be so excited to be able to turn in a 5-inning performance. He knew that it was going to be dicey if he got over his pitch count area. I mean, they're expecting about 80 pitches out of Finnegan. But if he had struggled a couple of innings, they wouldn't have left him in there that long, and all the young pitchers now getting together.
Run he allowed was the home run ball by Chris Davis back in the 2nd that tied the game at the time at 1. Reds pick up 2 in the 4th inning. Home run by Bruce, double by Duvall, produced another one. Saw Josh Smith standing there. He'll get the start tomorrow. And Anthony DeSclafani given a couple of extra days. He will work the finale here. You see Michael Lorenzen back there. Evis Sampson. Iglesias. Walk starts the 6th inning to Bruce. Now a double play ball, bobbled. They get an out. Safe at first. Bobbled by Segura cost the Brewers a twin killing.
Well, another seemingly perfect DP double play ground ball. Suarez hustles and turns it into a fielder's choice because of that bobble.
Brewers look at it. Joe West looks over at the dugout. No challenge.
Those are the things that are very hard to quantify. You know, when you have a missed double play ball, second time tonight it's happened to the Brewers, what it does to the rest of the game, what it does to your pitcher as far as the number of pitches you have to throw. Do you have to go to the bullpen earlier? These are things that are very difficult to quantify, and I know baseball mathematicians are trying to find ways to do exactly that, because everything eventually is going to be narrowed down to an algorithm. But there ought to be 2 outs and nobody on if you're Zach Davies, and he had a double play ball that would have ended the inning a couple of innings ago.
Braun settles under this ball, hit by Duvall for out number 2. And now if you to tweet your strongest fan photo our way, use hashtag #OhioDataStrongFan. You might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Let's see those now. Let's see those photos. Hashtag #OhioDataStrongFan for our T-Mobile fan of the game. Here's Barnhart. Lined out, he's walked. Tucker, of course, getting a lot more playing time this year in the major leagues than he ever thought he would. What with the injury to Devin Mesoraco, the hamstring strain now endured by Brian Pena, although he keeps improving, getting better. Could very possibly see him in the not too distant future back behind the plate.
You know, one of the questions the Reds are going to have to tackle is what they will do with Brian Pena.
Sure.
He is a free agent after this year. I don't know if there's an option for the club or an option for the player for next year. He signed a 2-year deal. This is the second year of a 2-year deal. And he was an everyday player one way or another seemingly last year in the absence of Joey Votto, when Votto was unable to play. There was Pena at first base. When Mesoraco went down this year, Pena was the main guy for most of the season. It'll be interesting to see what they do, because Pena is one of those guys who I think brings a lot to the table in the intangible standpoint. You know, he's sometimes viewed as a cheerleader, but it's more than being a cheerleader. I mean, he gets guys in the clubhouse up and going. He's always positive, never had a bad day, takes time for the press to speak with everybody, has built a great rapport with all the pitchers. But are the numbers there enough for the Reds to want him back next year? And how much are the numbers boosted by what you do in the intangible department?
Barnard draws the walk. That's 4 walks now by Davies. And so speaking of, here is Pena making his first appearance since that pinch hit appearance last week at home when he strained the hamstring running into second base. Rick Kranitz to the mound, the pitching coach.
You know, I'm in the middle of reading a very fascinating book, and the name of it is Intangible. Written by Lonnie Wheeler. I think a lot of people know him as a local sports writer, a very talented writer, and he wrote a terrific book, did a lot of research over many years. And has brought up a lot of arguments about the non-number part of baseball, how it really shouldn't be overlooked. And more than just the arguments that we've heard about all the years along. And interesting, I spoke with Doug Melvin, who's a former minor league teammate of mine, general manager for the Brewers now, about that. And I said, I'm reading this book. He goes, yeah, I've heard that book. He says, you know the problem with most new general managers nowadays? That they won't read that book. And they forget that baseball has a heartbeat. And this is where you can sometimes overlook what a guy like Brian Pena has done for your ball club.
Baseball certainly is not judged the way it used to be judged, is it? That's for sure.
It's a fascinating book, and when I finish it, I'll give it to you if you like to read those kind of things.
Sure, I'd love to take a look at it. Does it have pictures?
I'll draw a couple in at the very last pages.
Thank you. So here's Pena pinch hitting then for Finnegan. So the Reds will have a new pitcher come the bottom of the 6th. But again, Finnegan has qualified for the win. 5 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 75 pitches. Very nice effort for the 22-year-old out of Fort Worth, Texas. Pena at 282 with 17 runs batted in. Done a nice job off the bench this year. 4 out of 12. Just 9 days ago, the same game in which Votto was ejected and ultimately received the suspension, that Pena come up lame, running to second base in the 8th inning when he pinch hit for Jumbo Diaz. Has not played since then until here tonight. A bounce out here to Rogers. That puts an end to the top of the 6th. Reds leave a pair. They've stranded 6 in the game. Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. By Meyer, find more for a healthier you at Meyer. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on U.S. News and World Report's Best Children's Hospital. Rainy night outside here in Milwaukee, but a good night so far inside for the Reds. They're up by a pair, 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Brandon Finnegan out of the game. New man on the mound for the Reds is right-hander Colin Ballister.
Ballister's a young man that didn't think he would be wearing a Reds uniform this time of year. He was toiling away down at AAA with the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's in Indianapolis when the Reds purchased his contract in a cash deal with the Pirates. He comes in for the 10th time. He's already got 9 in the 3rd innings and a very low batting average against at .229. Now, Ryan Braun's been around long enough to know that he is not going to talk Joe West out of that strike or ever get Joe West to admit that it may have been just an eensy-weensy bit outside. Back in the old days, umpires like Joe West, if you looked at him the wrong way, that strike zone would all of a sudden expand like you're blowing air into a balloon. But they don't seem to do that much anymore. And the reason why is because they're being graded by the Pitch FX every night. They get a little video, or they get a little CD or a thumb drive or some kind of a file where they have had every one of their games judged. How many they got right, how many they got wrong, according to the boxes that we show you there, what we call our Fox box. I'm wondering if Joe studies that CD that he gets from MLB as much as he listens to the CD that he sings on. The country singer Joe West that he is.
You ever gone out and
I've heard Joe West once when he was over there at the old Bobby Mackey's a long time ago. Joe West also has a line of catching equipment that I think he sells to
catching, or
not
umpiring?
catching, but umpiring equipment.
Draws the walk, so the first batter faced by Colin Ballister is a free pass, and immediately Milwaukee will bring in the person of Chris Davis the tying run to the plate here in the home 6th inning. No scoring since the Reds scored 2 in the 4th. Now the job out of that Reds bullpen is to protect this lead. They can do that. Brandon Finnegan will get his first National League win, his first Reds win. Frazier can't get it. Suarez can't get it. Into left field it goes. It found a hole. And now over to third will go Braun as the ball bobbled by Schumacher. Just enough to allow Braun to move up.
That's heads-up base running by Braun because he keeps his eye on the ball and the fielder the entire time. A lot of guys are hitting the second base bag. They're dropping their eyes. They're walking back to the bag. Braun comes around looking. He's got no indication at all that he's going to go to third base on a base hit to left field right here. But when that ball gets by, if you're not paying attention, you can't take advantage of it. Watch Braun. Watching, and going. I mean, he was only about 6 feet off the bag when he decided to make his move.
That's an error on Schumacher. E7, first error of the game on either side. Tying runs on, nobody out. Powerful Jason Rogers at the plate. Let's play for the double play ball here with a 2-run lead. Milwaukee Ball Club has been a pretty good team this year, hitting with runners in scoring position, despite the fact they're 22 games under. They started the night at 270, 4th best in the National League, but at least up to this point, it hasn't happened for them tonight. They are 0 for 8 tonight in that department. Fraser's going to try to get the out at second, and he does. With a strong arm to get Davis. Phillips made the stretch like a first baseman. Well, he goes down 5-4. Braun scores, making it a 3-2 game, Reds. Now the double play is set up if they can get a ground ball off the bat of Santana.
Well, that's a shame about the error out in left field. That set up the run right there to make it a one-run game. As it turns out, had Braun stayed at second base, the positioning of that ground ball, Frazier may have been able to field that, throw to second, and get a double play that way.
Give Rogers an RBI his 10th. Now it's Domingo Santana. Mentioned he was the big player coming back from Houston. 16 home runs, a .320 average at AAA Fresno. It's Houston's AAA club this year. And when he came over here, he had 2 more for their AAA club at Colorado Springs. There's 5 in the big leagues with the Brewers. Run in, 3-2 Reds. Ballister in danger now of sending the tying run down to second, putting the go-ahead run on base. He comes up with a 3-2 pitch here. Domingo Santana. That's a hit up the middle. Second hit of the inning, 5th of the game for the Brewers. They have the tying run in scoring position and the go-ahead run at first for Herrera.
Getting just enough topspin on that ball to get it through the infield. And Brian Price headed to the mound right here. The question is, have they had enough time to get the left-hander Tony Cingrani going into bullpen? I guess the answer is yes.
Let's make the change. Ballister only gets 1 out. New pitcher coming on will be Tony Cingrani. This is our Skyline Chili called to the bullpen.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
I don't know for sure, but that could be a collection of the old 1982 Milwaukee Brewers that went to the World Series back when they were an American League club. That's where the uniforms were from that era.
Well,
that's Raleigh Fingers right there, isn't it?
Well, we already know that Pete Vukovich had given his uniform to tonight's starter, Zach Davis. So he can't be up there. Tony Cingrani out of the bullpen this year. 29 games, most of those obviously early in the year.
It's Elian Herrera, switch hitter, turning him around, having him bat from the right side against lefties. He's hitting only .224, righties .256, so this is his weaker side. Rogers the tying run at second. Santana the go-ahead run at first. Double play gets the Reds through the inning. Cingrani comes back now, gets ahead.
You know, Cingrani's the one wild card that could solve a lot of problems. If he came back, showed himself to be healthy the remainder of the year, and came back in spring training in tip-top shape, ready to go, and solve a lot of problems for this Reds bullpen. So there we looking for a left-hander. I mean, we don't know the status of Sean Marshall, except that he is a free agent, unless he decides to re-sign with the Reds if he shows himself capable of pitching. Manny Parra is a free agent. Don't know if the Reds will bring him back. There's Sean. He's had a rough couple of years from an injury standpoint. But you need somebody who can stay healthy down there, and you need some left-handers, whether you deny it or not. Lefties in the bullpen are a good thing.
Foul tip into the glove of Tucker Barnhart, so Herrera taken care of. Cingrani halfway through his sixth inning work.
He just pretty much plays good old-fashioned country hardball right here.
Martin Maldonado had a double as last time.
There's a slider that they had Tony Cingrani working on, and you know, Tony is still trying to figure out his best secondary pitch. When he had great success early on with the Reds as a starter, his secondary pitch was the same as his first pitch. That was his fastball. I mean, he pretty much was about a 90% fastball pitcher. He just rear back and throw it. So he never really developed much of a feel for a changeup or a slider or a curveball. And that was the next step for Cingrani, unfortunately sidetracked by some shoulder problems.
Gets him excited here at the ballpark, but a long foul ball. Double barrel action in the Milwaukee bullpen, meanwhile. Right-hander Jeremy Jeffress. Right-hander Tyler Thornburg. Adam Lind is waiting in the on-deck circle to bat for Davies should the inning continue. Way up and away for ball 4. So a strikeout of Herrera, but a walk to Maldonado. And the Brewers now have him loaded. That'll spell the end of Zach Davies. Rogers now over to third. Santana down to second is the go-ahead run. Maldonado joins him on the bases. Adam Lind, been the regular first baseman for this club most of the year, off the bench now. Jeff Pico jogs to the mound.
Now they load the lineup up, the Brewers did, with right-handers on the night when they faced the left-handed starter in Brandon Finnegan. So the best available bat is Adam Lind. He's a good one, but he is left-handed, and Cingrani normally takes care of lefties if he can get the ball over the plate.
Been a clutch performer for this Milwaukee club. You see that number 440, 2 out runners in scoring position, only behind Aoki of the Giants, the highest in the National League. Bases loaded, 2 out.
Those are very good numbers. Bases loaded numbers, runners in scoring position numbers. But if you're going to pay attention to numbers, you ought to have all of them. And some of the ones that are very important for Adam Lind are his splits, lefties and righties versus left-handers. No home runs and a .228 batting average. And 10 RBI in 99 plate appearances. So you got to like this matchup, especially now that Cingrani has gone no balls and 2 strikes. A nice little breaking ball right there for Cingrani.
Actually 2 of them in a row.
Yeah. All he's got to do is get a feel for that pitch.
Got him. Nice job. Tony Cingrani came back with a heater at 95. Puts Lind away. Brewers get 1, but leave them loaded in the bottom of the 6th. Reds jumped in front in the first. RBI single by Frazier. Got Schumacher home. Davis missed the cutoff man. Schumacher scored easily. 1-0 Reds. Then in the 4th, Jay Bruce Lead things off with his 22nd of the year, 204th of his career. Made it 2-0, 2-1, I should say, Reds. 2 batters later, Adam Duvall doubles home Suarez. That ball was hit so hard it went off the glove of Perez, rolled into left field. Meanwhile, Red starter Brandon Finnegan, his first big league start. 5 innings, 1 run, 3 hit baseball. Walk 2, fan 4, is in line to be the winner. Hope the Reds can hang on for him. That's tonight's Honda game summary as we head into the 7th inning. New pitcher on for the Brewers, Tyler Thornburg. Talked about the numbers of Finnegan, but you know what? The most impressive play of the night was when that ball hit off the cable way above the ballpark. He adjusted, stayed under it, made the catch, fell down, hung onto the ball.
Pops right up. It looks like he'd be a good utility back.
Showed some athleticism right there. The battle of these 2 rookies tonight goes to Finnegan. Ball hammered and gone. A home run for Bourgeois. Number 3 for the Red center fielder this year. Hit it hard to left center into the Brewers bullpen. Bourgeois gets the run back in the top of the 7th that the Brewers scored in the bottom of the 6th. And it is 4-2.
Well, Bourgeois is making quite a statement for himself here in the later part of the 2015 season. He only played in 18 games last year for the Reds. He's been around a lot of different teams. He broke in with the White Sox, was played here in Milwaukee for a short period of time in 2009, a couple of years in Houston. You probably remember him most from then. Spent a little bit of time in Kansas City and then in Tampa Bay in 2013. Many of those seasons split between the minor leagues and major leagues. From Houston, now makes his home in Los Angeles, and he's done about as much as he probably thinks he could here to try to write himself into the plans for 2016.
He has one of the 2 pinch hit home runs the Reds have hit this year. He hit the first. Adam Duvall hit the second. Gets one here tonight and make it 4-2. Schumacher going to get a base hit. His second of the night. So Tyler Thornburg greeted with a home run and a base hit by Bourgeois and Schumacher, respectively. Here's Brandon Phillips. Milwaukee starter Zach Davies gives up 3 runs, 5 hits in 6 innings. Walk 4, fan 4. Throws 102 pitches. We've got rookies going at it tonight. We'll have rookies going at it tomorrow night. We'll have rookies going at it Sunday afternoon. How about that? All 3 games of this series, both teams will start rookies.
Of course, the implications of this series in the big scheme of things for baseball, not very much. I mean, you got 2 last place teams battling it out to see who's going to leave town in 4th place rather than in last place. Reds right now come into this ball game a half game behind the Brewers. The Brewers have had that kind of a run.
A double play ball. Hard slide by Schumacher into the second baseman Herrera. They go 6-4-3.
Well, they've had 3 opportunities to turn one, and they finally got 1 out of 3.
If you look at the Brewers over the years, and you know, they haven't been in the playoffs since 2011. That's when they lost in the NLCS. They were also in the playoffs in 2008. They lost in a division series then. They won 90 games. They won 96 games as they did in 2011. But when they didn't make the playoffs, they always had around, you know, 83 wins, 80 wins, 82, 77, 80, 83. And that doesn't get you a real top draft pick. If you finish at the very bottom of the pool in Major League Baseball, like in every other sport, the worst picks first. So the Brewers have not had a first-round draft pick that would be in the top 10 chosen in the draft since Matt Laporta. And just a couple of years before him, it was Ryan Braun. So they've gone a long time. And if you look up and down the success that they've had drafting in the first round in the last 10 years, it has not been very good at all. And mainly because you have draft picks that are around the number 15, number 16, number 20. I mean, by the time you pick 15th or 20th, guys like Ryan Braun are gone. So when you finish out of the playoffs and you don't get a top round pick, you get double whammy.
Bourgeois' home run has extended the Reds' lead. Stretch time in Milwaukee. Reds by a pair. Show of the season. For as low as $12, you can see your Redlegs take on the New York Mets and enjoy a spectacular post-game fireworks show presented by Adams Recovery Center. Purchase your tickets today. You can call 513-381-RED. You can visit select Kroger locations, or you can go to reds.com/tickets. 2015 season winding down. Counting tonight, 17 games remaining. Reds do not want to finish last place in the division. This Milwaukee club is the team that stands directly ahead of them, but only by a half game. So if the Reds can win tonight, leapfrog over them. Well, that's Jumbo Diaz to go to work here in the bottom of the seventh. Tony Cingrani got the big strikeout of Adam Lind to end the sixth, and now it's Jumbo who comes on.
Jumbo has been up and down. He was down the minor league one time this year, and it was lasted a little bit more than a month. He was struggling at the time. He wasn't throwing strikes the way the Reds wanted him to. And when he did, they were right down the middle. And he went down to Louisville and got a wake-up call like he needed one. I mean, he has spent in his professional career more than 10 years in the minor leagues before he ever got a sniff of the big leagues. And he has come back up here when he was recalled on July the 18th and has been very, very good with only a couple of exceptions. And you look at his stuff. I mean, if you grade out Jumbo Diaz just based on arm strength and stuff at the plate, velocity of his fastball, movement of his fastball, his breaking pitch, his changeup, all of them are plus pitches. So there's no reason to think that Jumbo should not be back in 2016 as a very key part of this bullpen.
Of course, the last time we saw Jumbo, he was picking up his first major league save on Tuesday in San Francisco.
Boy, that is nasty right there. Jumbo slider.
Scooter Gennett going to bat for Hernan Perez. Scooter on the year at 263 with 6 home runs. 5 for 14 as a pinch hitter. One for 9 during the Cardinals series, just completed. Gennett. Another one that you were talking about, Diaz going down to the minor leagues. Gennett, they sent him down for just under a month earlier this year. Went down there, got himself straightened out, was hitting under 200 at the time.
You really wonder what the effect is of going to the minor leagues, whether it is a physical thing that they make a mechanical adjustment, maybe they work with a different coach, a hitting coach or a pitching coach. Or is it just the fact that you get down there and you realize, I don't want to be here, and I will do anything to get out of here. And sometimes that is what you need to snap back into big league mode. Not to imply that either of these guys or anybody gets complacent at the big leagues, but there are a lot of people trying to take your jobs. There's a lot more movement among players nowadays than there used to be. I mean, a guy goes cold for a couple of weeks, they say, hey, let's send him down to the minor leagues and get him straightened out, bring somebody else up. Pretty soon you're looking at using 50 or 60 players in a big league team throughout the course of the year. And ditto that for the minor leagues. I mean, there are more player movement now. For every major league player move, there's got to be a minor league player move or 4 minor league player moves. When you talk about an injury at the big league level, somebody comes up from AAA, somebody moves from AA to AAA and on down the line. Heard I hear the other day that the Dodgers had over 60 players used at their AAA, different players used at their AAA franchise.
They've been using a lot of them at the major league level this year.
That's the point.
Struck out Gennett there as a pinch hitter, including a move that they made recently when they designated former Red Matt Latos for assignment.
Well, you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, huh?
They're doing whatever they can, A, to win the West,
and when to run.
Hopefully get back to the World Series. They've been denied for a long time out in LA. Here's Braun with 2 out. Jumbo's come on, gotten the job done here thus far. Braun in this game has grounded out and walked twice, scored a run back in the 6th. Reds have led all the way. Lead now 4-2 in the 7th. Jumbo going to have himself a perfect inning on the right side. Phillips calling. Phillips has it. Diaz gets the job done. We are through 7 here in Milwaukee. Talking about his first win, not just a good start, good numbers, but his first win wearing a Reds uniform as well. He has a 2-run, 4-2 lead, Finnegan and the Reds. Into the 8th, Jay Bruce leads it off. Couple of Milwaukee changes defensively. We'll touch on those as Jay leads it off here in the 8th. Scooter Gennett, pinch hit, stays in the game. He's now at second base. Elian Herrera, who is at second, goes over to third. And Hernan Perez is out of the game. Bruce a home run back in the 4th, his 22nd. Puts him now in sole possession of 8th place. Reds history with 204 career home runs. He also a feature of our IGS Bringing the Energy tonight. Most RBIs in a single season versus one team. He now has 15 against the Brewers. A couple of years ago, 19 against the Astros. That's when they were a National League club. They, of course, now compete out of the American League. Our IGS Bringing the Energy feature, Jay Bruce. Bruce chases that, strikes out 4, out number 1. Here in the top of the 8th inning, we pass along our condolences, and as well as the rest of the baseball world, to Houston Astros and the family of Milo Hamilton. Long-time Major League broadcaster, 50 years in the booth for a number of big league teams. Passed away yesterday at 88. He, like our own Marty Brennaman, in the Baseball Hall of Fame broadcasters wing. Winner of the Ford C. Frick Award back in 1992.
really one of the great things about going to Houston when the Astros are in the National League. You go down there and you get to visit with Milo Hamilton a little bit, tell you some stories of, you know, guys like Milo Hamilton and Vin Scully and Marty Brennaman, the stories that they can tell, just one after another after another. And great announcer and beloved by so many fans everywhere, Milo.
Not forget Bob Uecker right here.
Yeah.
Also.
Oh, well, those stories, those were tough to top.
On the series out in San Francisco, you had Hall of Famer Marty Brennaman, Hall of Famer John Miller in the booth. Here, Marty, along with Bob Uecker in the booth.
Now, we also should send out, and we did not do this over the weekend because the games were so late in San Francisco, but send our condolences out to the family of Ted Throckmorton. Ted was a longtime season ticket holder, and he broadcasted high school sports for 54 years. We met him, you know, Jim, a couple of times, most recently during one of the season ticket holders meet and greets down in the room down below the stadium there, and he was fun and sassy and asked some tough questions. And just about a week after we met him during that season ticket holders meet and greet, he passed away at his home. We wanted to send our condolences along to his family. What a wonderful man, and I think he was celebrating that day. Was it his 92nd birthday?
Something along those lines, and he was getting ready to start another high school football season.
Certainly will be missed by a lot of people. Ted Throckmorton.
Duvall tonight had an RBI double back in the fourth. Talked about it at the time, but it's worth mentioning it was his first hit as a Red that was not a home run. Hit that pinch hit home run up in Chicago, and a home run against these Brewers in Cincinnati, a home run against the Cardinals. 3 hits, all home runs until tonight when he had the RBI doubles. Every hit he's had as a Red has driven in a run. Remember, tomorrow night, a little earlier start time, 7:10 Eastern time. Another couple of rookies, Josh Smith against Taylor Youngman, the guy that we were talking about, has had a tremendous year from a pitching standpoint. He and Chris Heston right up there amongst the National League leaders in terms of rookies and wins and ERA. Reds have faced him a couple of times this year. That'll be the second duo of rookies that the series will produce. And 2 more on Sunday. So 7:10 tomorrow, 6:30 with Reds Live. Catch all the action of the Reds pregame show 30 minutes before every game. Reds Live pregame presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. We'll have it for you tomorrow night at 6:30. Game at 7:10. Josh Smith against Taylor Youngman. And on Sunday at 2:10, Anthony DeSclafani against Ariel Pena. 3 rookies on both sides starting in this series. Marks the first time since 1913 that has happened. DeSclafani on the left. He'll start Sunday. If we see Lorenzen again this year, it's more likely than not going to be out of the bullpen. Finnegan a win. Josh Smith right there on the left. He'll start here tomorrow night. He'd love to pitch as well as Finnegan did tonight. How about that group right there? How many of them are going to be good pitchers into the future for the Reds?
Well, you hope all of them. They certainly all have a chance, and they're all getting to the major leagues at a very young age. The youngest of them all, Finnegan, on the very far right. Brandon's only 22 years old. Michael Lorenzen, 23. Smith is, I know DeSclafani is 25. I have to look up
Josh Smith.
Josh's age.
He just turned 28 in August.
Okay. Well, that doesn't make him old by any means. That just makes him old compared to the rest of the starting rotation of the Reds. Of course, the Reds this year, their average player, their batters, are an average of 29 and a half years of age. The average age of their pitchers is 2 years younger than that, at 27. Marcel Iglesias, 25 in the major leagues. Boy, he has a future in front of him. And a little bit of a sore wing right now. They're going to keep an eye on that before they run him out there again.
That's a walk to Barnhart, second of the inning. Down to second base goes Suarez.
And third of the night for Tucker. He's picking up for that spot vacated by Joey Votto, who's serving a suspension tonight.
Joe Diaz spot due up. Brendan Bosch out of the dugout, as is Craig Counsell, manager of the Brewers. He'll take the baseball from Thornburg. Brewers will make a pitching change here in the top of the 8th inning. the NFL that may affect your fantasy football teams. And playoff matchup in Queens as the Mets and the Yankees start a 3-game Subway Series, plus the rest of tonight's MLB action. It's Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. That Subway Series, Game 1 goes to the first place Mets tonight. They win it 5-1. Steven Matz made his debut against the Reds earlier this year, now 4-0. Masahiro Tanaka, the loser, 12-7. 5-1. Mets a winner in that game. Snap a 2-game losing streak. The Yankees, they still have a chance to catch Toronto. They are 3.5 out at the start of the day. New pitcher on is Corey Knebel. He'll pitch against a pinch hitter, Brendan Bosch.
Knebel's a young guy. He's only 23 years old. In fact, he was taken in the draft in 2013, one spot after the Reds picked up Michael Lorenzen. Lorenzen first round, 38th pick in the draft, and Knebel went to the Tigers and then traded over from the Tigers to the Brewers this winter in January for Yavani Gallardo.
Bosch into the corner and a foul ball.
Whereas Michael Lorenzen went to a big-time school, Cal State Fullerton, did his college work. So did Corey Knebel. He ended up at University of Texas in Austin.
They're going to get up the middle. It certainly will. Into center field it goes on the broken bat base hit. Runners move up. One of them scores for the Reds. That's Suarez. The other one, Barnhart, hustles over to third. Reds now own a three-run lead, and it is 5-2 as Bosch gets the pinch hit base hit.
The Reds are trying to take extra bases every way they can. This ball just shatters the bat of Brennan Bosch, but who cares? It's a base hit and an RBI, and with 2 outs, nothing sweeter than that. Riggleman is going to wave the lead runner home. That is Barnhart, or that's Suarez. And Barnhart gets into third base ahead of the throw by Domingo Santana. Well, nice to see Brennan Bosch on the base pass.
You bet. Gets his 4th RBI of the year. It's back to the top of the order, and Jason Bourgeois. Talking earlier about the fact that all the starters in this series will be rookies. I threw out the first time since 1913. That was a series at the end of the year between the Washington Senators and the Boston Red Sox at old Griffith Stadium in Washington. The last time it happened, 1913.
Well, where do you look stuff up like that?
102 years ago.
I mean,
that's Elias.
Okay.
That was passed along by Rob Butcher, media relations director of the Reds.
Good passer honor.
Bourgeois home run back in the 7th. hit by Bourgeois, but good reaction down there by Jason Rogers. Puts an end to the top of the 8th, but the Reds had a run. Now lead by 3.
In Milwaukee, I'm Jim Day. Let's check out some news and notes around Major League Baseball. Guys talked about it earlier, but Matt Latos, the former Red, designated for assignment by the Dodgers yesterday. And how about Toronto? They just keep mashing. Donaldson, Bautista, and former Red Edwin Encarnacion each have 30 home runs and 100 runs driven in. 6 players in Major League Baseball have done that this season so far, and Toronto has 3 of them. And Starlin Castro making a bid to get back into the regular starting lineup for the Cubs. Pretty good day, 3 for 3, 2 home runs, 6 runs driven in. I'd say that's better than pretty good, as the Cubs blasted St. Louis today.
All right, you know, that's 6 RBIs by Starlin Castro, the most he's had in a game since he had those 6 runs batted in when he made his big league debut at Great American Ballpark against the Redlegs back in 2010. Meanwhile, Sam LeCure comes on to work the 8th. Ryan Lamar has gone into center field for the Reds. Bourgeois has moved from center out to left field. Those are the changes for Cincinnati.
You know, kind of interesting to see that graphic and Matt Latos up there, given the fact that the Reds got 2 very good players in return for Latos. Anthony DeSclafani, figured to be the anchor of the staff other than Homer Bailey next year, and Eugenio Suarez, who's been an outstanding pickup for shortstop. But at Latos, you got to figure, I mean, the whole baseball world is down on Matt Latos right now. There's no question about that. But you have to remember that he's 27 years old. He's still 9 games over 500 in his major league career, and if he ever gets healthy and really stays healthy and gets the rest of his act together, there's a guy that can provide something for a ball club that he may be able to get on the cheap. Because I would think that he has now hit a low point in his career.
You can bet he was gunning for the free agency year, hoping to have a big year this year down in Miami. It didn't work out. But everything that you said is dead on. Good start for the Reds and LeCure as they get the ground out there off the bat of Chris Davis. LeCure had that tough outing at the end of the homestand against the Cardinals. What a great job he did bouncing back in the 7th inning on Tuesday in that Reds win, a 1-2-3 frame against the Giants.
And I'm wondering if this is a statement of some kind. Maybe you read between the lines as to why Sam LeCure is in there right now as opposed to J.J. Hoover. That 8th inning has always, when the Reds have been leading in a tight ball game, has belonged to J.J. Hoover for quite a long time this season. But he has been scored upon in 4 of his last 5 games. And LeCure has gotten the call tonight.
That's a bomb by Jason Rogers. His 3rd. It's now 5-3.
Whoa.
Second home run of the night by the Brewers. Both have been solo. First came against Finnegan off the bat of Chris Davis. This one by Jason Rogers against Sam LeCure. Base hit. The Brewers will bring the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th. Home run Rogers, single to left Santana. Brian Price out of the dugout. Let's have action down that way. Burke Badenhop, right-hander. Manny Parra, left-hander. Brian Price will take the ball from Sam LeCure, and Manny Parra will enter the game for the Reds. Fan photo of the game to pass along. Reminder that you can get involved. Tweet us your strongest fan photo to hashtag Ohio Data Strong Fan. Chance to be featured in an upcoming game. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Here's Michael. So that's Data Strong, fan of the game.
Is the KGB here watching this game, Jim Kelch?
The young KGBs. It's their junior club. just in case he has to go outside. Second time in this game, the Reds bring in a lefty to force Elian Herrera to bat from the right side. Parra against Herrera here in the bottom of the 8th. Sam LeCure gives up the home run ball, second of the year. Santana with a base hit means that Herrera represents the tying run. Herrera stays alive with a check swing. Martin Maldonado waits on deck. Reds still have Burke Badenhop throwing in the bullpen, the former Brewer. As is, by the way, Manny Parra. And he was drafted by the Brewers back in 2001. Was a starter for them and then started to make the transition in his career 2012 into the bullpen with them. Frazier, Phillips, there's one. Duvall, got them both. 5-4-3. Around the horn it goes, and a double play hit into by Herrera. And the Brewers settle for one in the 8th. September the 26th at Great American Ballpark. Arrive early, be one of the first 25,000 fans. You'll receive a commemorative All-Star Game figurine presented by your Tri-State Chevy dealers. For tickets, 513-381-REDS. Select Kroger locations or reds.com/tickets. Reds, in terms of home games after this road trip, have the Mets in for 4. That quick one-day trip to D.C. on the 28th to play the Nationals, and then back home to take on the Cubs for 3. So seven home games remain. 3 with the Cubbies, 4 with the Mets. That'll be it for 2015. Lorick Abel back to the mound in the 9th inning. He came on, did give up the pinch hit base hit to Bosch. Able to get Bourgeois on a hard hit ground ball to win the inning. He stays in there now, and he gets a pinch hitter for Hara, Ivan DeJesus Jr., then Phillips, then Frazier. Hara, 1 batter, 2/3 of an inning. Sam gives up 1 run, 2 hits, 1/3 of an inning. Chapman is throwing in the bullpen.
Has had a couple of days off since that 41 pitch appearance, that multi-inning appearance in San Francisco.
We had that little fingernail issue. Brian was talking about it today, saying it's all been taken care of. It kind of was catching. A little discomfort for Chapman in that game out in San Francisco.
He made it interesting, that's for sure. You know, I need to correct myself. Something I mistakenly said a couple of innings ago, where I said that Eugenio Suarez came over in the trade for Miami for Matt Lato. He didn't. I mean, he came from Detroit. It was Chad Wallach who was the second player in that. And I know if you don't pick it up, a little nuke will pick it up, and
thank goodness.
Put it out on Twitter, and I'll pick it up. Thank you, Steve.
Jesus had a couple of hits, including 3 RBIs in the game that he started out in San Francisco. Had that 2-run triple in the first inning on Tuesday night. Tonight he started at shortstop. It was his first big league triple. Did not get into the game on Wednesday. Pinch hitting here tonight. 5 runs, 8 hits Reds, 3 runs, 7 hits Milwaukee. Reds have left 8, Milwaukee 7. Chapman, when he comes on, will get 8, 9, and 1. Maldonado, a pinch hitter for the pitcher, and then Segura. Phillips on deck. Brandon's been on base tonight, but not via the base hit. He's had back-to-back multi-hit games those last 2 contests out in San Francisco. And DeJesus draws the leadoff walk. 7 of them now by Milwaukee pitching. Here's Phillips.
We get 7 walks and 8 hits, and you figure that you'd have more than 5 runs on the board. The Reds have left 8, and maybe they can blow it open here in the 8th inning with a big one.
If that's the case, it could take a save opportunity away from Chapman. They'd be happy to do that. Put some separation between themselves and the Brewers.
Sometimes I wish they never invented the save.
Yeah? And your reasons?
Well, it's about one of the lesser meaning stats that a pitcher can compile. And I see managers manage to get their guys a save when it oftentimes doesn't make any sense at all. You see agents pounding on general managers wondering why my guy isn't getting saves. I know that happens.
Phillips puts a charge into this ball into center, and that's going to be caught. Santana makes a terrific play out in center field. He went airborne for that ball and came down with it. He gets a big hand, Domingo Santana, and he doffs the cap to the crowd.
I didn't think when that ball left the bat he was going to have a chance to get over, because we've seen Santana play center field. He plays very deep anyway. And he's not that great of a center fielder. In fact, they will admit, the Brewers, that he is more of a corner outfielder, and he's only playing center field out of necessity right now. But he makes a nice grab on that one.
Carlos Gomez-like, wasn't it?
Yeah, well.
And we've seen Gomez make some terrific plays here.
Ask Joey Votto about some of his catches.
Not only here, Gomez against Votto, but also in Cincinnati. Frazier rockets one out to left center field. That will bounce over the wall, take an RBI away from Todd, unfortunately. The ground rule double, his second hit of the night. And second and third with one out.
Boy, it sounds so good when he gets it on the screws. I mean, that is a loud bang.
Now 41 doubles for Frazier this year. Jay Bruce is going to be walked intentionally.
Kind of interesting right here. Of course, they're going to go for the double play ball. That's the idea of loading the bases up here. But you're also loading the bases up for a pitching staff that has walked 7 batters in this ball game. And sometimes you put pressure on your pitcher when you don't have anywhere to put them. But with Bruce, the way he hits here in Milwaukee, he hit his 10th home run career-wise here earlier in the evening. And because he did, back in the 4th inning, opposite field, our Miller time moment brought to you by Miller Lite. Happy and Joy in the dugout. Was Happy and Joy at the Miller Brewery for you yesterday.
Yeah, we had a group of us went over and took a tour of the Miller Brewery, and then after we finished that, went up to a small little brewery called Lakefront Brewery and took a tour of that.
It was not a sponsor, by the way, but go ahead.
We had a good time. We had a big time.
Well, great opportunity for Suarez right here to do some damage. First pitch and ball, better and better all the time. This is where, as a hitter, you can really shrink the strike zone. Pretty nice pitch. pitch is always a big pitch in and a bat, never more so than with the bases loaded. After a slow curveball, he just throws a fastball on the inside part of the plate right past Suarez. You know, the reason I say the 1-1 pitch is so important is because on a 2-1 pitch, the league this year is hitting .338. On a 1-2 pitch, which is if you throw a strike on that 1-1 pitch, the league is hitting .168. So he got him to 1 and 2, but now Suarez has got it even too. This is a decision pitch.
He took strike 3. Gets mad, slams that bat down and breaks it.
Looks like he just went right outside on the corner. Maldonado setting up actually more on the inner part of the plate. No argument by Suarez except that he's angry at himself and the bat pays the price.
So now it's Adam Duvall with the bases loaded, 2 out. De Jesus over there at third. Frazier out at second. Bruce at first with the intentional walk. Frazier had the ground rule double. I mentioned it's his 41st double of the year. Career high for him. Tops in the National League. He is now just 10 doubles away from tying the franchise record for doubles in a season. Co-held by Frank Robinson and Pete Rose. Robinson did it in 62, Rose in 78. Big job of pitching here for Knebel if he can get through this.
It's funny that he's throwing more aggressive and better pitches with the bases loaded than he did getting to the bases loaded. I mean, he's a kind of a kid if you're looking at it just from a character standpoint. Right now, it looks like he responds to high leverage situations. When he's backed up against the wall, nowhere to put the runners. He went 1 and 2 ahead of Suarez. Got him with a strikeout, and now he's 0 and 2. And it's a bat against Duvall. I imagine if they're going to stay with the scouting report, they'll just send a couple of pitches down the way and see if Duvall will swing at it.
Back-to-back strikeouts while Knebel with the bases loaded. So the Reds threaten but fail. Leave them loaded. Chapman into the game in the bottom of the ninth. 5-3 Reds. been brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your local Toyota dealers. Proud sponsor of the Cincinnati Reds. Changes for the Reds. Ivan DeJesus Jr., who pinch hit, stays in the game. He is now at first base. Duvall leaves, and Aroldis Chapman comes on to try to save it.
Aroldis tonight is the 7th pitcher that Brian Price has used in this ballgame. He's had a couple of days off since that long outing that he had in San Francisco, game in which he threw 42 pitches. One game out of 3 the Reds won against the Giants 9-8. That was a woolly one.
Blew the save in that game, but eventually did get the win. Martin Maldonado leads it off.
Now Chapman the other night threw a lot of breaking balls, and we learned later that he had that fingernail problem. Now the Reds say he's okay. Here he throws the first pitch breaking ball to Maldonado, so something to keep an eye on.
0 for 3 lifetime with 3 strikeouts. Maldonado against Chapman. Pitcher spot is due next, and Luis Sardinas, the infielder, will come up and pinch hit. 4-pitch walk. That's not what we had in mind.
He looked a little perturbed after the 2-0 pitch was close and he didn't get the call. He looked in at Joe West, and I don't know whether he's angry at himself for missing the strike zone or what, but of course we've seen Chapman get himself into jams and strike his way out of jams.
So here's the pinch hitter, Sardinas. He bats for Knebel. There's Chapman's first strike of the night. Hitting .203, Sardinas, in 27 games with this club. Made his Brewers debut earlier this year. Ooh. Caught Joe a little bit. Rattled the mask of the home plate umpire.
Hey, that one came off. I wonder if maybe Joe West is using the Davey strap.
Go down and talk to him about it afterwards.
I might do that.
Or when you see him out later tonight between sets. Blew him away right there for out number 1.
That Chapman finally warmed up. It looks like that last pitch by the radar gun here at the ballpark. 101. Gas at the top of the zone.
DeJesus will get it, and they get the lead runner at second base. Versatile infielder gets the force out on Maldonado. 3-6. Now Scooter Gennett, who pinched it earlier, is due up. He's going to be lifted. Left-handed batter will exit. And off the bench will come Nevin Ashley, the catcher who a couple of years ago was in the Red system at spring training and spent the year at Louisville. Ashley with his club 5 games, 125 average. It was 2013 that he went to spring training with the Reds, spent the year in Louisville. Last year with Indianapolis. He's at a ball a strike. Ashley's 31 years old. Finally this year, after 10 years in the minor leagues, got a chance to play in the majors. And he logged a lot of games in the minor leagues. Hit .306 this year with their AAA club, and finally earned the reward coming to the big leagues. He made his big league debut 9 days ago on the 9th of this month and had a double in his first at bat. Drove in a run. Perseverance has paid off for this young man out of Vincennes, Indiana. Got him on strikes. Reds win. Game 1 of this series goes to the visiting Reds. They win it by the final score of 5-3, and with that, leapfrog the Brewers